Hi there, congratulations on the upcoming arrival of your new baby. My wife and I, we recently had our lovely little baby Mila, who's now about 1 month old. As you know, me and my wife, we are staying in the UK and our parents are both back home in Singapore and Vietnam. So we found that the whole process, there's a lot of uncertainty with no guidance. This is our first time going through it. And there were at times a lot of difficult decisions that we had to make that seems a lot very last minute. So in this video, I would like to share with you the 3 main things which I wish we had known before we went to the delivery ward. Just remember, everyone's experience will vary. And I'm sure you'll feel just as rewarding and as happy and relieved once you get to see your baby after 9 months of wait. I hope through this video, you'll feel a lot more confident when you finally had to make those decisions that we have faced. So before I start, I'd like to give a big shout out to all the moms and moms-to-be, as I think you guys have done a tremendous job in delivering that baby. I don't think I can endure those pain that you guys have been through. And honestly, I personally found this whole experience to be quite a traumatic one. So for new dads-to-be, I sincerely hope that you can be there together with your wife. Because I mean, personally, I felt going through this whole process together with her actually make me appreciate her a lot more, and I think that actually improved the relationship as well. So be there for your wife. Hi, I'm Mr. YY and welcome to my channel. Being a new parent these days is so difficult. There's a lot of decisions to be made in terms of how can I provide the best for my family, how can I bring about the best for my little one. And so through my channel, I would like to share with you the experience, the journey I've took, the decisions I've made to bring about the best in terms of the emotional, the physical, the mental, or even the financial well-being for my baby, for my wife and I. Disclaimer for now that I'm not a parenting guru, but I think it's important to see different perspectives. So I would like to share with you all this so that when you are making the same or similar decisions, it would be a lot more easier. So without further ado, let's start on the topic for this video. Number 1, stay calm when the water breaks. We all wish we know how does a water break look like, especially when it's our first one. So 8 days before our expected due date, I was still at work. April was doing her prenatal yoga at home, and suddenly she told me, I think my water broke. So I turned around and I looked at the yoga mat and I saw this little puddle of water. So all of a sudden, this came about and we were so panicky. We were very excited at the same time as well. So we started Googling, is this water break, what to do? We called the NHS and they were like asking us, how does it look? How does it smell? And I just, being macho and being very brave, I just took a swipe, have a good sniff of it. And you know, we eventually went to the hospital. They did 2-3 hours of testing just to make sure that actually there's no water break, right? So I was so glad that I didn't actually do a taste test. The real deal came at 2 days before the expected due date, and it was 4 AM in the morning. This was the scene. So we woke up to being in a swimming pool of water, and that time we are so chill. We washed up, we actually went back to sleep for a couple more hours, woke up, have breakfast, and then we slowly head to the NHS. What this whole experience taught me was that there's no need to panic, because once the water break, what happened is you have 24 hours where the baby is still going to be safe. There's a low risk of infection to the baby, and what the NHS will actually do if the contraction haven't come yet is they will actually send you home and then ask you to come back in when the contraction comes. So first thing, be relaxed, be calm when the water breaks. The second thing I learned was not to be too guilty about using medical intervention. So maybe you are like me and my wife. We did a lot of research actually before going to the hospital, and we were quite adamant about trying to go for a natural birth, trying to use all the natural ways, no intervention, no epidural. And unfortunately, as things pan out, our decisions actually change over time. So I would like to share these 2 occasions which we actually think on hindsight we would have gone for the medical intervention. The first occasion is about having an induction. So an induction process is to try to accelerate the contraction and basically making the whole dilation faster as well. So we were wheeled into the delivery suite at about 8 p.m. On the day the water broke, and that was after 8-10 hours of waiting at the hospital. This at that point in time, her dilation was about 1 cm big, and to deliver the baby, you need to wait for it to fully dilate, which is going to be at about 10 cm. And we were offered two options. First option was to give it 4 hours. We're going to have to walk around the hospital, try to naturally wait for the contractions to kick in and for the dilation to actually expand wide enough. Second option was to be on an oxytocin drip. So that will accelerate the contraction process and the dilation process. And being quite strongly, having a strong viewpoint on this, we went for the 4 hours wait option. So we were walking across the hospital in the delivery gown at midnight, trying to let it kick in naturally. And it was really a very painful process, because over time you can see the pain coming, and there was a point whereby she couldn't even stand, couldn't even walk. And on hindsight, if you think about it, the pain level, the pain threshold of pain is going to be the same eventually to deliver the baby. So why not? And on hindsight, we would have gone for this oxytocin drip so that we can reduce the amount of pain that we were going through at that point in time. The second occasion was essentially the pain relief option. We were very, very firm when we went to the delivery suite that we are going to use a gas and air option. At the start, we were presented with different options. We can use tablets, we could use gas in air, we could use epidural, but we decided that gas in air seems to be the least invasive, seems to be the most natural way. However, over time, we realized that we found it to be not efficient. It was so painful that she couldn't speak, her lips turned white. She was essentially just focusing on trying to manage the pain. And after a while, we know that there was no way she's going to go through the whole delivery process with just using the gas in air. So we relented, and then we used epidural process. And I think my main concern from my perspective was that the use of epidural could potentially render the bottom of her body basically no feeling, so she couldn't actually feel the contraction, couldn't push out effectively, and there might be a risk of her having to use instrument delivery such as a forceps or vacuum pump to actually pull or suck the baby out. So that was my main concern. And to be honest, or to be fair, and if you think about it, a lot of people actually use epidural pain relief. So it's quite common use of a pain relief option, and the risk itself is actually very uncommon. If I'm not wrong, it was 1 in 50,000 or something like that. So don't quote me on the number, but it is uncommon. So please, if you are like us, have a consideration of trying to use some form of medical intervention if required, and don't feel guilty about it. The third point is that it's not actually as bloody as I thought it would be. So I've never considered to be a doctor because I'm so scared of blood. When I look at blood, I feel very faint, regardless of whether it's my blood, your blood, or whoever's blood, you know. And that's one of the reasons why I have never considered being a doctor before. So I was actually quite worried going to the delivery ward that I might feel so faint that the doctor have to save me rather than deliver my baby. So the good news is that when my baby came out, she was so clean that actually the midwife told us that, okay, you don't have to shower her for 7 days, because you know what, the protection layer, the liquid in the mother's womb actually protects the baby for about a week. So she was very clean except for a little speck of blood at the top of her head. And so that's the disclaimer, because it really depends on the type of delivery. If you're having a C-section, or actually in our case there was a little bit of complication, because basically at the point of delivery there was a part of the process whereby her head was already showing, but there was no further progress for, like, I don't know, for 5, 10, 15 minutes. And so the midwife had to make the decision to actually make cuts to the vagina so that it widens and expands so that the baby can eventually come out easily. And that is actually quite a common thing as well, apparently. So that's where a lot of the blood came about, and I was quite glad that by that point in time, I was quite okay with the whole process and I didn't actually faint. So yes, don't be afraid that it will be a very bloody affair, and I'm sure everything will go well and smooth. There you go. Those are the 3 points which I hope I had known before going to the hospital. If after your delivery you have other points to share with other new dads or moms, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Well, other experienced dads and moms, if you have also other points that you would like to share with the group, feel free to drop them in the comment below. I wish you a very smooth delivery, and hopefully you found this video informative and enjoyed the video. So if you like what you've seen so far, please feel free to subscribe to the channel, and I'll share with you more and more of my thought process and the decisions and considerations that I have bring up my daughter and my family. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day.